Speaking of prosthetics for animals, probably one of the most famous cases was made for Derby the dog. Derby was born with deformities in his front legs, which made it hard to impossible for him to be mobile at all. His caretakers even considered euthanization as the only humane option for him. Peace and Paws Dog Rescue discovered Derby and took thousands of CAT scans, which was used to construct special 3D printed prosthetics that allowed Derby to run as far into the hills as his little puppy heart desires. This is Irby, the world's first 3D printed car. It has humble beginnings as a small project by an independent team of designers at Core Ecologic. The team wanted to design an environmentally conscious and sustainable car that could take a couple of people and their pet from one end of the US to the other on just 10 gallons of fuel. The best way to get this uber eco-friendly machine was to 3D print all the parts and assemble those. It is one of the greenest cars ever made, and a sequel, Irby 2, 3D printed, even gotten its hand into fashion. It's allowed for more daring and impossible looking clothes and pushes the edge of what our clothes and bodies can look like. Designers like Chanel and Karl Lagerfeld are utilizing this technology to create weird, alien, and exotic looking pieces. While most of these pieces are hanging in the Met and off of models like Dita Von Teese, they could soon be coming out of your personal printer at home. Making clothes right out of your home office might just be the next step in fast fashion. You've seen 3D printing make fashion garments and body prosthetics, so it's not too much of a leap to imagine a 3D printed organ. Scientists at Princeton University designed this bionic ear that can actually hear even better than human ears. The 3D printed cells and nanoparticles with a small coil antenna creates this cyber ear that can be installed into a real human and hear radio frequencies a million times higher than our own ears. Try explaining to someone from 10 years ago that NASA funded a 3D printing object to print pizza. Well, that's the reality we're living in today. The company known as BHEX was commissioned by NASA to develop palatable food for astronauts' deep space journey to Mars. The printer can create specific flavors and toppings, and even shapes based on scanned JPEG files to keep those bored astronauts appeased on their years-long journey. Humans aren't scheduled to make any trips to our sister planet until the early 2030s, so we'll probably be seeing these printed pizzas at theme parks and novelty restaurants. When you think about 3D printing, you usually imagine printing little gadgets, life hacks, and little things that make your life easier. If you take that to its logical conclusion, you might wonder if we'll ever have 3D printed buildings and housing. Well, we do, and they were printed and constructed by Winsun in China. These two buildings were constructed from parts entirely made with a specially made 3D printing technology, including the plumbing, wiring, and entire foundation.
You won't see them every day on the street, but 3D printed metal bicycle frames do exist, thanks in part to the wildly imaginative exploits of the students at Amsterdam's TU Delft. Featured before on Freeze HD, TU Delft students are always working on cutting-edge innovations. Partnering with MX3D and utilizing the services of several other companies, they've created the ARC Concept Bicycle, a work of art on wheels. The ARC Bicycle was fashioned with a combination of 3D printing and welding, a new twist in 3D printing techniques. During the process, the students even got to play with MX3D's robots, which makes us really jealous. These robots can construct 3D shapes in mid-air in a process called WAM, or Wire and Arc Additive Manufacturing. This empowers the robots to build in any direction without support structures. The ARC consisted of a 3D printed stainless steel frame with a futuristic spidery web of struts. Weighing about 44 pounds, the ARC is heavier than might be expected, as the team was concerned about how strong the structure would be in a lighter version. The goal of the project was to demonstrate that this groundbreaking method of 3D printing was capable of constructing a functional, medium-sized, complex object. Watching the ARC bicycle effortlessly roll down the street, we'd say they succeeded. Wildlife conservation professionals are constantly looking for new ways to preserve endangered species. In at least 2 projects designed to increase the population of these precious animals, researchers are studying innovative technologies, with vultures being threatened in record numbers due to the toxic effects of livestock medicine. Egduino.org and the International Center for Birds of Prey intend to help with the development of a 3D printed electronic egg, devised to monitor temperature, barometric pressure, humidity, light intensity, and other factors. This 3D printed device will help conservationists better understand breeding habits. Armed with this information, researchers are one step closer to a solution. Paso Pacifico, a California-based conservation group, has developed 3D printed artificial turtle eggs, meant to put a major dent in turtle egg poaching. Identical to real turtle eggs, these 3D printed spy masters are actually embedded with GPS tracking devices, placed in nests prone to being raided by poachers. It's hoped these amazing eggs will lead authorities right to the bad guys. Imagine the surprise on the face of the poachers, or those who purchase the eggs as food. Whether someone goes to jail or just loses their appetite, they'll think twice before poaching again. Our next 3D printed item is far more down to earth. We're talking shoes. Adidas is experimenting with Futurecraft 3D, a prototype 3D printed athletic shoe. Imagine walking into the store, running briefly on a treadmill, and walking out with an individually customized 3D printed athletic shoe. That's exactly what Adidas hopes to eventually be able to do with in-store 3D printing. As you run or walk on the treadmill, your feet will be scanned into an advanced software program. Within a short period of time, your shoes will be 3D printed, complete with soles that are a fully breathable carbon copy of your own footprints, matching your exact contours and pressure points. Still in development, the Futurecraft 3D or a similar product may soon be coming to Adidas stores. In 2015, Under Armour launched the Under Armour Architect, a partially 3D printed cross-training athletic shoe. The Architect includes a complex lattice design and 3D printed soles and cushions. The bold color scheme makes the Architect a wicked-looking shoe, with an equally wicked price tag of $300. Apparently the price wasn't an issue, because the Architect is sold out. Some of the most exceptionally beautiful shoes at the 2013 Paris Fashion Week were actually 3D printed. Designed by Iris van Herpen, these astonishing shoes incorporated intricate lattices winding around the foot, resembling tree roots. Onlookers were totally dazzled, and so are we. The process of growing up involves thrills, chills, and occasionally spills. But anyone who's had a broken bone knows that those plaster or fiberglass casts are really uncomfortable. And if you've got an itch, forget it. Now through 3D printing, better solutions are available. This is the Cortex Concept, a custom 3D printed exoskeleton cast from New Zealand's Jake Evil. This thin, breathable, lightweight cast, made in snap-fitting pieces, would be much more comfortable than plaster casts. Winner of several awards, Evil's Cortex could be mass-produced in the future. Mexican company Metaprint has also designed an exoskeletal product called NovaCast, a 3D printed plastic or fiberglass lattice-style cast similar to the Cortex, 10 times lighter than a traditional cast. Having a broken arm wouldn't be such a heavy experience. The 3D print specialists at Fathom have developed a concept called the Hashcast. Using a mobile app, users could gather get well messages from their favorite social network and have them 3D printed as the actual cast structure itself. A custom fit design is then 3D printed and sent to a medical facility for fitting. While Fathom says that it technically could and might be willing to make the Hashcast for someone, they're not actually planning on doing it. But who knows?
Hi, this is Simon. I'm sick of being alone. When are you coming home? Just a glimpse of your face. I can remember smelling your hair. I'll meet you anywhere. Somewhere that no one can retrace. Somewhere where no one will know our faces. She has 2 arms to hold me and 4 legs to wrap around me. She's not your typical girlfriend. She's my